Привет, Stalkers! My name is Darren Costumes, and one of my greatest hobbies besides of playing Stalker is cosplaying Stalker. But since there is no free-to-play standalone version of Stalker cosplay, many of you have reached out to me in the past and said that they have no crafting skills, but they would like to have a Stalker cosplay. And of course, budget and authenticity are the two things that limit us to a very small amount of Stalker costumes, but all of those costumes will be recognizable as Stalker. So buckle up when we are venturing out into the zone and exploring 3 Stalker costumes that you can get for less than 200 euros and without crafting skills. Of course, there's something that can improve every costume a little bit when it comes to Stalker, and that is patches. Of course, patches are difficult to make, but you're lucky. I'm giving away a set of patches of your favorite faction from the original Stalker trilogy, and you can win them. All you need to do is comment down below which Stalker faction is your favorite and you want your patches from, and I'll get you a set of patches and send it right away to you. And of course, don't forget to support this YouTube channel. Stalker is quite a niche and I need every little bit of support that I can get so we can make some successful raids into the zone as soon as Stalker 2 releases, and that is very soon. And I'm so hyped for that. So check out this video, because in this video you will get the right drip for the zone. Stalker has a variety of factions to choose from, but we have to limit ourselves to a few that have gear that can be easily bought and assembled. So the first faction that we are going to check out are the Mercs. And while the Mercs are the most secretive faction in the zone, they're also the one that have quite iconic gear that you don't have to make yourself. First of all the costumes we'll be talking about require some kind of proper shoe work. So expect that for every costume you will have to get some kind of black boots. They don't have to be the best one, but if you want to go LARPing or hiking with them or whatever, and you want to wear them for a longer time, just get some boots that can take the stress and that won't hurt your feet. You can probably get some somewhat decent boots depending on your location for between 60 to 100 bucks. That should be possible. And that is the start of your Merc costume. The next piece that you will need is a blue BDU uniform. You'll be able to get this kind of uniform in most Airsoft Surplus stores and maybe in stores for worker clothing. Just make sure that it's a rather dark blue. Do not take like light blue, that will look just silly. You're not a plumber, you are a Merc. This will set you back in between 60 up to 100 bucks as well. If you buy them used, it will be probably cheaper. It's always worth to ask around in Airsoft groups whether somebody is selling his gear. The next piece that you need is the black vest. And while you may be thinking that this will be difficult to get, it is absolutely not. It is the cheapest and most accessible part of this costume, because this is literally the cheapest airsoft vest that you can find, the most basic airsoft vest that you can find, and thus you can get it from a lot of retailers, especially the ones from Taiwan or China. This will set you back between 30 and 50 bucks. Not too much, and you can get it almost in every country of this world. Just look around in airsoft stores, but also check out suppliers from overseas. This may be a cheaper option. After that, of course, you need to protect your face. A cheap balaclava will do it for 10 euros. You can, of course, take just a half face balaclava. You can take a full face balaclava. Doesn't matter. Do it as you please. Fingernail level gloves like this one are in between 10 and 20 euros. Mine are actually pretty old and they look like that. Still, not too expensive. You will need this part as well, but also if you don't want to rely on fingerless gloves, just black airsoft gloves will do the job as well. So if you want to get a little bit deeper in the Merc game, I advise you to take the XM40 respirator, but it's expensive. This thing might cost you around 80 to 150 euros depending on your location, and for me that's simply not worth it, so I don't have this thing in my collection. If you want to have the Merc respirator, this will be your first choice. Unfortunately, it's an expensive one. Still, overall, if you kind of cross out the respirator, the entire costume can be assembled for around 200 bucks, depending on your location, of course. And the last thing that you need for it is a gun. And of course, you can't just take a pistol like a Valta P99, or you can just take a cheap plastic airsoft MP5. NATO guns are probably the more reasonable thing for a Merc because they usually show up with NATO guns, and a cheap MP5 is accessible everywhere, probably not even too expensive. Just get that one and you will be good to go with your Merc cosplay. If you see yourself there, Merc is the way to go. And of course, Everyone who plays Stalker will recognize the merc as a merc. The second costume that we can check out is the Bandit. And here it is very important to stay close to the iconic look of Bandits. People will just think that you're a Gopnik if you just buy some Gopnik clothes, and if you wear them, they will think you're a Gopnik hobo. This is not the look that we want to achieve. We want to be identified as bandits from the Stalker trilogy. And for that, we need to start with a light gray hoodie, or even a white one if you like weather it a little bit, but the hoodie is the first base of that. And this costume is something that actually requires some Stalker skills for you. Artifact hunting. The artifacts are clothes. The anomaly fields, vintage, thrift stores, second-hand stores, flea markets. Those are the areas that you want to look out for set pieces, because you can save a lot of money if you just buy those things used. After the hoodie, you need the right leather jacket. A black leather jacket will do at best, with 2 pockets on the chest, and has to go over your hip. That's the most iconic piece. This is probably not the best cosplay for hot summers, but it will do the job and people will recognize you as a bandit. The next step is getting the right belt. Here you need a 2-pin buckle belt made out of black leather. You can get those things at army surplus stores, sometimes used on eBay or Vinted or whatever, or you can just buy military surplus from the com block. They had such belts. They just cost a little bit more than the used ones on the flea markets. And on that belt you will slap a Soviet era canvas grenade pouch, a canteen with a cover made out of cotton or something like that. Don't use any ugly plastic cover. You just want to go for that vintage look. And of course a Makarov holster, because real Gopnik bandits have Makarov. You need those things. Depending on your location where you buy them, they will set you back with around 30 euros or so. Not too much, but still something that we have to put into calculation. Buy used stuff, guys. Honestly, it will save you a lot of money with this costume. After that, of course, the right pants. And the right pants are blue or black Adidas. Dark Adidas pants with 3 stripes. 3 poloski. But if they have 4 stripes, or if they are Adimas, Adibas, Adios, it's even better, because you are literally Gopnik. Like the most bootleg Adidas pants, they will do the job just fine. I prefer blue because the pants in the game look more bluish than black, but black will probably do as well. Go for those and you will have the right pants. And of course, you need boots. And which boots are the right ones? Well, for the bandits, actually just any gray boots that you can find. So it can be working boots, can be like hiking boots, doesn't matter, as long as they are somewhat grayish, you will be perfectly fine. After that, of course, fingerless gloves and a balaclava, and you are good to go. Weapon choices, either a Makarov, which is still a little bit of difficult to obtain. If you know how and where to get a cheap Makarov model, let me know in the comments below. I'm looking for one. But if you don't want to rely on a Makarov, you can just get some kind of pump action shotgun that is somewhat close to the Chaser from the Stalker games, or just an MP5, because it's the Viper. And of course, if you want to spice it up a little bit, you can also add the right rucksack. Any used gray Adidas or Eastpak rucksack will just do fine. Also quite good for cons, because you will be able to carry some food and drinks with you. And there you go, you have your bandit costume together. And remember, weathering is almost free, and I made a video about that. The next costume is the Loner. And not just any loner, but the rookie loner with its iconic khaki jacket. And this jacket is the most important piece of the loner costume. I found that the American M65 jacket kind of looks like the rookie jacket from the Stalker games. Of course, you have to get it in tan, but those things are copied all over the world, so you can also take a similar jacket. This one is from the company Bandit. Depending on your location, jacket that looks like the novice jacket from Stalker may cost you between 38 up to 80 bucks. As always, depends on your location and quality. As always, check out flea markets and used military surplus airsoft stores. You know the drill, guys. Just look out for it. Don't buy the first thing that you see online. It can save you a lot of money. Of course, also this costume has the right piece of belt. And in that case, it's a 2-pin buckle belt, just like the Bandit has. But this buckle belt actually is brown. But you can slap the same items on it. Canteen, grenade pouch, Makarov holster. You don't have to use a Makarov as a loner. It's just an option, and almost every loner has one. Besides of that, you need the right pants. Almost every sturdy jeans pants that you have that is not too clean and not too bright and somewhat bluish will do the right job. Remember, as always, weathering is almost free, and in some cases it is free, so you can always change the appearance of your pants. Boots? Just take any dark boots that you have. They will do perfectly fine. And for this costume, I would also recommend having a rucksack. You can either take the gray German Gebirgsjäger rucksack for it, or you can take the Czech M60 rucksack. Those things are not only good looking and also fairly accessible, they're also relatively cheap. You can get those things from 10 to 20 euros, depending on your location. Of course, as always, a balaclava can be added to this costume, even though I would say that the loner does not really require a balaclava. And besides of the balaclava, black fingerless gloves, the classic. When it comes to weapon, you know the weapons you almost use: double barrel shotguns, cheap MP5, any kind of cheap pistol. This will be the right weapons. If you want to go a little bit more on the experience sector, you can also consider Krinkov AKS-74U. Also a good choice, just a little bit more pricey. Still, one thing that this costume could really benefit from is, of course, a few accessories like bolts. Something else that is really nice for this costume is a GP4 respirator. These come a little bit more pricey, around 30 to 50 euros depending on your location, but they look quite iconic. They're not only the snork respirator, but they're also the respirator that you see on this Stalker artwork here. So you can get closer to this guy. So all of those costumes make a good Stalker costume because they're not only affordable, but also they are recognizable. People will see them and will remember Stalker when they played Stalker. So you can go for those. Patches, of course, can spice things up, but they're not really required to have a somewhat decent Stalker costume. It is important that you just stick close to the authentic look of the Stalker games. Of course, you can spice it up with your own personal taste, but overall, people should be able to see what you are actually trying to represent. And the closer you are to the original designs from the game, the better. So is anything left? Yes, it's weathering. And if you want to know how to weather your costume and give it a more used but also authentic look, just check out this video, because I have made a video about exactly that topic. Weathering doesn't cost much, but it will improve your costume greatly. And if you need some inspiration, don't forget to check out my other socials. I have some amazing Stalker photos there, and furthermore also a Stalker fan movie, which was a great fun to make, and I hope that you guys are enjoying that one as well. Those are free Stalker costumes that you can do without crafting skills and with quite a limited budget, but that people will recognize as Stalker. And I actually hope that this video helps you to make your own Stalker costume. Maybe for Halloween, for cosplay, for law purposes, airsoft, I don't care. I just want to see more amazing Stalker costumes out there, because Stalker 2 is just around the corner and we have to get ready for our next journey through the zone. And to not miss out my next journey to the zone, I highly recommend you to follow this YouTube channel, because there will be definitely more Stalker content coming and I'm looking forward to that. And until then, good hunting, Stalkers.